with Embroidery Nurse. Welcome to a new series called Monogram Mondays. Every Monday I'm going to showcase an item that I've been stitching in my studio this week. Some of these things you've probably already done, but for some of our newcomers, this might be the first time they've seen some of these items showcased. So let's get started. This week I had a run on linen hem stitch pillows. I love these pillows. I ordered them from All About Blanks. I'll put the information in the show notes here and let you know where you can purchase them too. You do need a wholesale license to purchase through them, but that's easy to get as your business grows, and it's just a really great place to get linens and other things that you would monogram for home decor. So these are so sweet. I'll show you my listings. This is called the Linen Swiss Dot Hem Stitch Pillow. And you probably can't see it from that far, but I'll give a close-up view in a minute. There is versions that have little tiny blue dots and a version that has little tiny pink dots. And they are just so beautiful for baby gifts. I'm sure people use them for other things, but that's kind of what I envision them always being used for. So I actually had an order this week for 3 of them, and I've already done 2, but I just wanted to show you. I was kind of scared of linen, especially the linen that's used, these fine pillows and hand towels or whatnot. Just scared of, getting my machine on them, didn't want it to rip it or mess it up, the integrity of it. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So don't be scared, even if you're not a sewer. Here is my handy dandy sewing machine that I've had for probably 20 years. I don't really sew. I don't call myself a sewer. I've always had it. I've certainly made things on it like pillows and maybe some curtains along the way. I thought that I was gonna sew all my kids' clothes, but then I had 3 boys, and they're just not quite as into it. It's just not quite as fun as all the cute little dresses out there. So I never really did much with clothing or anything like that. But I've always had it, always been able to use it, kind of. But again, I don't consider myself a sewer. But these type pillows, whether you have a single needle or a multi-needle, you actually do need to remove some of the stitching to be able to embroider well on them. These are the kind that have the pocket to put the pillow in the back. And so all I do, and I've already done it so I didn't bore you, is just carefully, with our handy dandy seam ripper, just take out the stitching just on one edge. So you can see on just one side of this, just enough to slide my frame inside of it. You don't have to do it all the way around. Now, if you have a single needle, you probably will have to take off a bit more. But again, it's super simple because when you just go back to do the top stitch on the back, it's just a straight line. And most of us can do a straight line on the sewing machine. You can do it. I know you can. So what I've done, I took the stitching off, and I know I can fit my frame in here. I use a Derpy 9x9 frame for anything that I could possibly use it for. If this fits in a project, this is what I'm using. So I'll showcase that below too if you're interested in that. But what I do also, I've got my 3-letter monogram. So remember, monogram is going to be first, middle is going to be the last name, and this will be the middle name. So first, last, middle. I print out my templates off of EMBRILLIANCE Essentials. It helps me line my items up and to know that they're in the exact space they need to be when they're on the machine. It draws a grid line on there, and so I set my light on my machine, and I'm able to match it up to the exact middle of that monogram there. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the center of our pillow here. So we're just going to measure it all the way across. It's exactly 20, so 10 will be our middle. I'm going to pin that there. And then find our middle, going lengthwise. We're 16.5, so it'll be 8 1/4 there. Perfect. And so I have a pin in the exact middle of my item, and I'm going to match up the middle of my item, which has a grid line on it here. Match that up. It doesn't matter really which way you do, up or down. And then I remove the stitching on this side, so I'm just going to kind of reach my hand in there and put my pin in place. I don't like to do too many pins when it comes to linen, just because it is a little more sensitive than some. So I have my monogram exactly where I want it, in the exact middle of our item here. And now I'm simply going to cut a piece of tearaway. I use tearaway on them. I've done both, but because the way it looks when it's done, I really don't want to be able to see anything. Linen's very see-through, and these monograms work well and stitched out very well with the tearaway. So I cut a piece of tearaway the size of my frame. I do a little bit of spray adhesive, and then I'm just going to place this inside the pillow here. You kind of have to work your way in all the way to the top there, and then roll it back out, spread it back out. Let's see, there we go. So the spray adhesive, you know, kind of helps it stay in place, but you do want to flatten it out, make sure there's no bubbles or anything. Sometimes you can look on the front and just kind of spread it back out onto that adhesive. Perfect. And so now we're just going to slide our frame in. So you have to make sure that the hole is big enough to get that in there, and that's plenty. Plenty. So we have the inside of our frame on the inside. I'm going to flip it over. It's bunched up a little bit there. And then we're just going to center that frame with our hands here, eyeball it. And then what I do like is there are notches on here that help you kind of line up to try to get it centered as much as you can. I know there's plenty of room with this, so we'll go ahead and slide that frame on, and I just kind of eyeball it. It's definitely centered there from here top to bottom. So now we have it on the frame, so it's perfect. And so what we'll do is we'll slide the arm of our machine in right here. Now if you're using a single needle machine, you would just want to take off, you know, probably both sides of this, pin it back, and then you're able to lay this down and do this very easily, honestly. The only difference, you know, with a single needle is that you would just have to take more of the backing off. But again, very simple to sew it back on when you're done. So I've got my monogram on, and I do a fairly large size monogram because this is a, you know, large pillow in the end. This is a 5.5 size monogram. It takes about 30 minutes on my multi-needle machine to stitch out. So it does take a while to stitch, but it is beautiful. I can't wait to show you the end result. But very simple. You see how we did that? I'm going to put it on the machine and I'll show you when it's done. See you in a bit. Look how amazing that turned out. So now you can really see the detail and how we match up the thread color of the monogram to the little cute little dots on the side. I mean, how amazing is that? Isn't it beautiful? Ah, it's beautiful. I love it. It's gorgeous. So what we do here is we're just literally going to take the tearaway out, and you want to get all the tearaway so it doesn't show through. So you just kind of flip it inside out a little bit here and just pull away all those pieces so that there are none left behind. And with linen, you know, when you're, you know, messing with linen on the machine and what I'm doing right now with it, you're going to want to iron it just so it's a really pretty finished product when you send it to your customer. This customer bought 3, so I don't know if she was just buying them for everybody in the family. I'm not sure. You always kind of wonder where things end up when you're making them. And it's also funny how, you know, when you have a listing on Etsy, like someone might not buy it for a couple of weeks, and then this week alone, I think I've had 6 orders. So I think that's just how things, you know, work out when they're on Etsy. You know, they get picked up, and the more people buy them, the higher they move up, and then more people, who knows? I don't quite understand all the algorithms and whatnot, but it is funny how I'll get things in runs. Okay, so I think I've gotten all of the tearaway out. So the next thing that we do is we're going to stitch the back together. So I've already got one of this order done, and look at this one. Let me show you real quick. This is the pink one. Oh my goodness. Let's see, which way is it? Can't even tell which way is right. Look at the pink. How beautiful. ZSS, that's what that is. How beautiful is the pink? Seriously, y'all. So what I did is I went on the back side and I pinned the area that I had removed the stitching from. So you can see all the pins that I have placed there. So now what I'm gonna do is literally just go to my sewing machine and just do a straight line right here, and we're done, y'all. So I'll show you that. How simple. So we got our handy dandy girl here, and literally I just got white thread top and bottom, and when I run out of thread I use my embroidery thread, and I think it looks amazing just the same. So I've got the pins in there. The great thing about sewing is you can sew right over the pins, so that makes it real helpful. And I've pinned the areas that I need, so I'm just going to literally place it at the start, turn my needle down into the fabric, find my little petal here, and we'll do one little back stitch just to keep it in place, and then I go slow, and I just follow the original line of the stitching so that I'm not making extra holes, and just make sure I get all pieces of that fabric back in place. So it's just a simple line. You can do it. I know you can. And then I go all the way to the edge, back stitch once or twice, lift it up, lift the needle up, and boom. So grab my scissors and cut these little pieces off on the edge here. And then I'll cut the pieces off at the beginning of where I started stitching, here and here. Oh, I just get so excited when I make something that's just so darn cute. It's just so darn cute. It really is. I just love it. And so the company that I buy these from, again, from All About Blanks, I also get the inserts. You can get them from a lot of places, but I just find it easy to order them as I order together. So I sell them with the inserts. Most people want the insert. Most people don't want to go out and find their own pillow. So you can see how it's perfectly stitched back the way it was with the little opening in the back. So we just take our pillow. Actually, we iron it, like we mentioned, because like I said, linen wrinkles. So I always iron it before I send it. So a good press all the way around with the iron set to linen. Ugh, so pretty, so pretty. All right, and then we're just gonna slide the pillow in place here. You want the pillow that the insert, you know, to make it a tight fit so that it really spreads out the embroidery and the stitching. You don't want it, you know, to be too small. Some people will even buy, you know, a size up with their pillow to make it extra poofy, but I just buy the ones that are made for this from the company, All About Blanks. Y'all, stop it. Seriously, how amazing is that? You can do it. These are so easy. Single needle, multi-needle, it doesn't matter. Yours will look just as beautiful regardless of what kind of machine you're working on. Again, it's a long stitch out, and it does take an extra step, you know, using your sewing machine. But again, it's a very simple step, and like I said, you're just gonna take that seam out, stitch it up when you're done, and you have this amazing, high quality product that you can sell to your customers. So I hope that helped, and we'll see you again on the next Monogram Monday. If you found this helpful, I'd love for you to like the video, subscribe, that way you can see these every Monday and all the videos in between. Have a great day. See you soon.